Eating around the campfire is probably one of the best things in life. What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker Bushcraft. So I'll stick true to that statement that like food and cooking at the campfire, even if you're not like much of a chef, right? Still cooking at the campfire and just eating that campfire food is like, it is the high point, at least one of the high points when it comes to camping. Like, let's face it, everybody talks about what are we gonna eat for dinner when it comes to camp, and it's a big event. That is like part of it, right? When the evening starts coming, it is a big event. Get that fire going, get the food started, burn some stuff, cook some good stuff, and just enjoy the entire evening with friends and family, or even if you're solo, just with nature in itself. And listen, peak camping season is coming, spring and summer. I think that's why I'm so excited today, because it is already in the 50-degree temperatures here in Pennsylvania, and it's an upswing. I definitely had the winter blues. I was done with the winter. I'm sure we're gonna get a couple cold days, but it's on the uphill swing, so I'm happy about it. Now, with all that said, let's talk a little bit about food and different types of food for different camping situations. This is nothing overly groundbreaking. This is just a way that I think about food when it comes to camping and camping trips and what we're actually gonna be planning. And from over the years teaching at courses with the instructors, they do a lot of the same stuff. So I think it might give some of you some ideas, or it might just like be another tool for the toolbox, right? And one of those things that you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is gonna fit this situation perfectly. Because what I'm gonna go over, they're not really rules, okay? They're just like suggestions and things to think about when it comes to eating in the outdoors. So the first thing is fresh food, okay? Fresh food is great. It's what most people think about when they think about going on a family camping trip or a car camping trip. You wanna get them big juicy tomahawk steaks or that barbecue chicken you're gonna cook over the campfire, or saute some fresh vegetables, any of that kind of good stuff. The problem with that is that you have to be able to store that somehow, and especially in the hot summer months, keeping that food fresh can really be an issue at camp. So although it's like the best stuff to cook, it's the worst to deal with, because there's just no really good way. So one option that you can do is, first of all, you're gonna have to probably take some type of device like a cooler or something to keep the food refrigerated. That's gonna be very important, because we know we can't throw ground meat in the back of our vehicle and just let it there until Friday of the trip and then cook it. Although I have seen some people on Instagram recently eating raw meat like it's rancid. Okay, so beyond that, that fresh food, great option. It's fun to cook over the campfire, and it gives those camp vibes greatly. So what we would generally want to do in hot weather when it comes to the food is not only use some type of cooler, but also one really good option is to take and do this. Take the meat and do something like this, which this is a Ziploc bag with meat inside. It is just frozen, okay? So this is gonna help extend the life of this because it's already frozen. So it is gonna thaw over the days, but it's a good starting point for you to think about. Freezing stuff works really well. Outside of that, of course, a cooler with ice. The biggest downfall with that, of course, is that the ice melts and then your food is soaked in water. So generally, fresh food, again, Ziploc bags are gonna be your friends for this, because if the ice melts and then you have just nothing but a puddle of cold water in your cooler, it's not like getting filled with like bloody meat juice, or your onions not soaking with, I'm sure we all experience that. So Ziploc bags work really well, and then we just want to maintain our ice levels. Another option is what today's product is that I'm going to be showing you, and that is battery powered cooler. It's like literally a refrigerator freezer on wheels, and that can also be used as a traditional cooler with ice. So let's take a look at that. So here is the product, and it is today's sponsor, Anker SOLIX, a longtime sponsor of our channel. So thanks, Anker SOLIX, for helping out with this and making these videos a reality all the time. So this is the EverFrost 2 cooler from Anker SOLIX. It is an electric cooler. So if you've never heard of an electric cooler, you basically charge this thing up, and I'm going to show you all how that all works. And then you have your cooler that you can keep your food cold. So it's like a refrigerator freezer. You don't need ice if you don't want ice in this thing, but we're going to talk about that here because I think this is definitely an important thing. And with the technology being out like this, it's almost like a no-brainer if you camp, or even just for being around the house, a way, if there's an emergency, to keep the food that's in your refrigerator going longer, okay? If the power goes out or something like that, it's important. And there's so many options with this to just keep this running longer than a traditional refrigerator. It's awesome. So let's think, first of all, we think about a cooler, we have to throw ice in the cooler, throw your food in there, and then we keep that, of course, the ice melts, we got to keep restoring it. In this case, we don't have to do that. We can just turn the unit on if it's charged up, and the unit will get cold, and it will keep itself at that temperature. It cycles on and off, just like a normal refrigerator, so it lasts a good amount of time for you. Now, you can put ice in this. There's a drain plug in the bottom of the cooler section, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit. So if you do have ice in that, by all means, you can do that. But what's nice about that is if you really want to go long term with this, you can use some ice and you can use all the electric features to it also. I just go with the electric features because I'm going to show you some stuff here that I do with it to make it just extend out that much longer. Then I don't have to deal with ice at all, which is probably what most of you are going to do. So the cooler itself is 40 liters, as I said. It does roll, so it has a rolling feature on it. 2 back wheels. It has a grab handle here, and then another handle up in front. It's not. I know I'm a big, strong guy. It's not that heavy, so it's definitely manageable for most people to be able to move around. It has a rolling function, so you can lift this handle up, and you can roll this thing away. And then the handle that lifts up also has a bar that comes down, and then this gives you a little bit of a work area or somewhere that you can put your food while you're digging inside here. So we all know we get stuff and we're like putting it on the ground, especially at camp. You just lift this thing up, you can put all your cold brewskis there, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so really nice feature there overall. On this side of the unit, if I turn the whole thing around, what you're going to notice is this bar. You can get a lot of attachments. Okay, so check the website out. You can get attachments for fishing rods and drink holders and all kind of good stuff there. That's what that specific thing is for. On the lid itself, okay, turn this down. On the lid itself, we have a nice top to be able to work on, and then we also have measuring on the top and bottom here. And then on the side of the unit, if I turn it this way, we have some really cool stuff going on. So first of all, we have the charging port. Okay, so this can plug into an AC outlet. It also comes with a cigarette lighter plug for your vehicle. And then this port here has to go with the solar panels that you can buy separately. So I'm going to show you them because we've been talking about them solar panels from Anker SOLIX forever now. So you can do all of that charging, which is very cool because you put this in the shade, run your solar panels out, and you'll be good to go. This is the battery compartment. It opens up this way. It comes with 1 battery, and the other side right now is just a storage box. So I have the charging units in here to charge this thing up. But you can get a second battery for this, and you can extend the life out of how long this thing runs, which is awesome. But here's the even better part. The battery itself, you can charge this up with the 2 different USB style plugs, okay? But it comes out. So now it's not just stuck inside here. So if, say, you don't use a cooler all the time, now you have yourself a portable power that you can take with you, and you can use your USB to charge up and stuff like that. So that is awesome. And you put 2 of them in here, you're absolutely going to be golden. All right, so the cooler itself, lots of technology built into this thing. I showed you the batteries, but also the frost flow cooling technology, which means that it will take the cooler from 77 degrees Fahrenheit down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit in only 15 minutes. And that's super, super fast. Once this thing's charged up, you don't need to keep it plugged in. It's battery powered, so that is absolutely great. It's still insulated and has a leak-proof lid on it. Again, you can hook up the solar panels for charging also. All different modes here to run this depending on what you're going to have in there. So there's max mode, smart mode, eco mode, all different modes there depending again what you're doing. And then it also has Bluetooth technology, so you can download the app and you can control this thing from your phone, which I tell you, for all the battery packs that we looked at on this channel already from Anker SOLIX, that feature might seem super techy, but it works really, really nice, especially it's cold. Like now, if you use this today here in Pennsylvania, it's cool in the morning. You don't have to have this thing running. You can have it off, and then you're out and about during the day. You pull your phone, you hit it because it's getting warm. It'll kick the system on and keep your food good to go. And then last but not least, if you're using just the batteries in this and you turn it on, okay, if you add that second battery, it will stay cool for up to 4.3 days. So a super long lifespan. It's going to cover most camping trips without even having to recharge. So if you add in any of the accessories to recharge, you're gonna get a long time out of this. It's gonna fill your needs absolutely perfectly. So if you're interested in this product, the EverFrost 2 from Anker SOLIX, it's on sale now. You'll get $200 off by clicking the link below. Go check this thing out. It's definitely gonna be a game changer for all your camping and enjoyment needs and your preparation needs moving forward. Now, a couple other things before you click that link, or click the link and even come back. One thing I did want to show, because a lot of people ask about this, has been the solar panels that go with all the Anker SOLIX stuff. So this is the Anker SOLIX solar panels. I actually have one of the attachments on, the charging attachments on here. Take that off. So the panels are very packable, okay? They're not overly big. These things can slide away just about anywhere. You open these panels up and you can see here's all your solar panels, okay? On the back side of this, these things open up, and that's your stand when you have this totally open up. So it stands out this way, and you can angle that in different directions to catch the most sun, which is really, really nice. And then it has your two plugs right here. So they give you a lot of different cables to go along with this, okay? So all that you do with this is you're gonna plug in your two cables into the unit, and then this goes either, like in our case, to the cooler, or like these battery packs that we've showed in the past, the power stations. You take those and you plug this in and it will charge that up. So teaming up something like this with this, or even one of the power stations, is an absolute game changer overall, because you can always be charging something, especially if you have multiple units. Just keep this thing running all the time during the day and you'll be good. It does also come with two extension cables, so you would run these. That way I can keep this in a shaded area, the cooler in a shaded area, run this out to a sunny area. It's out of the way. This is in the shade and we're good to go. So definitely another option for all of your preparedness and your camping needs. Now let's jump to the other end of the spectrum, okay? Maybe you're gonna be in a situation like we'll use our Bushman class, for example, where you're going to hunt, trap, and we don't fish, but maybe in the summertime, right? We're out fishing. So we can use fresh food because we're gathering it from the land if we're in that situation, but we wanna have supplemental things. And that's where what we call traditional camp food comes into play, okay? So some of these options are gonna be options that they do require a little bit of knowledge of how to use, but they're very multi-purpose. So you can use them in different ways. So let's look at some of them, okay? So the first one, which if you come to a basic bushcraft class, you know this, because we make you bring this along with you. All-purpose flour. All-purpose flour is a great addition to your food supply, even if you have fresh food, for the fact that you can make a lot of different stuff with this. We're generally going to make a dough mixture with this, but then we can cook the dough mixture a variety of different ways. We can bake it and make like a bread. We can fry it if we have some oil. We can also make dumplings. We boil them. So lots of different stuff that you can do with this. And then if you forage and you find some wild edibles, or you have some trail mix, or you have some dried fruit, you can add it into this and you can make a variety of different things. So it's a very useful item to have with you, and it's very traditional. They use this along the frontier very often, and they carry this with them as that supplemental thing to the meat sources that they would have gathered. So flour is a really good one. Some other options in this category, very shelf-stable stuff that you can keep for a long time, like it's a year later, you're like, hey, I can still use this stuff. Maybe some things you haven't thought about. I put pasta in this category, although you can't do a ton like flour. This stuff, it's very easy to carry, it's lightweight, all you need is water to boil with it. Rice, That's another one in this category. This stuff, you can put it in a bag and you can keep it basically forever. And then when you need it, you just boil it up at camp, and it's an addition. Or if you're on a hunting, fishing trip and you were just not good at hunting and fishing, it still gives you a food source. So something still to think about, carbohydrates, keep your energy up. And then another one that was used a lot on the frontier with a lot of provisions when it came to like exploration and stuff like that are beans, okay? So they're not canned beans, they're the dried beans. These things last a long, long time also. But again, all of this stuff, you have to have a little bit of know-how how to take it from this state and actually make it, cook it, and then season it and make it happy to eat. So lots of stuff. So we consider that all traditional food. I think they're really good staples just to generally have overall, not all of them maybe, but like I carry flour in most of my longer camping trip kits because it's there. I can make stuff with it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and if I have nothing else, it's an okay meal. If I have something to add with it, it's an even better meal. So we like those traditional foods in that sense. So we have fresh food over here, we have those traditional. They're all right. They're going to get you through kind of meals over here, and then what's in the middle. So I like to call that our pantry meals. So this is the category that most people forget about. I think that they struggle with this because they feel like they're camping. So it's like we have this traditional stuff. If you watch a channel like mine, you know about it. Or you have this fresh food, and it's like, well, what are we going to do for lunch? And you just don't know, okay? So pantry food's a really good option because it generally doesn't need refrigeration, okay? You can just stick it in a bucket or a bag and throw it in your car, and there's a lot of different options. So I just pulled some stuff out of the pantry today, and I was at the dollar store this morning getting a drink. So I was like, hey, I'll grab a couple things, just some fun options that you might like. Let's just start. So we have just our snack food kind of stuff. Jerky is a really good one, okay? Everybody loves jerky. The best part of this is that if your friends all bring this, that you don't have to, you just keep borrowing theirs. That's what I usually do, okay? But jerky's a really good one. As far as like lunchtime trail food, great, right? Meat source. Peanuts, almonds, cashews, anything like that. Pistachios, right? Lots of different options you can do there. We have here, is this tuna or chicken? This is the chicken in the packets. It's already seasoned, so this works really good. Or you can do something like the canned chicken, right? You just crack this can open, and then you have a meat source there. So really good. And again, you start thinking of teaming stuff up, right? So you can just take some of your rice, boil it on the trail, add some of this in, and you have yourself a little meal there. So those pantry meals, they work well, okay? Velveeta shells and cheese, or any kind of mac and cheese, right? This, again, it can lay in your car. It doesn't matter if it's a bazillion degree. Well, I guess a bazillion is going to cook the cheese. But a million degrees, I think you'll be okay. Same with like ramen, right? The noodles themselves, they're fine. You can season them with different things. I used to actually eat a lot of these instant potatoes, so this is going to be a good filler. You can add it with other stuff. And then we can even go to the point of something like Jiffy. We use this a lot when we make chilies and beefs and beef stews and different things like that. So we can make cornbread. So this requires a little extra. And although it says you need an egg and milk, you can use this specific one with just water, and it comes out fine. It's good, right? We all love it, and we absolutely kill it. And then like this day and age, there's everything. So my kid eats a lot of these. These are like protein-packed oatmeals, so you can eat them too, right? We just add some hot water that we boil over our campfire at lunch, and we're good to go, or even a quick breakfast. So that pantry level food is something that I think, like I said, a lot of people overlook. There's a lot there that you can do that's gonna just save some time. If you're out on a hiking trail or you're just on a day trip, that stuff is really gonna work really well for you rather than that real fresh stuff or that traditional stuff that's just gonna take a little bit more time and prep and really just doesn't have the flavors and consistencies you might want. All right, so there you go. That is today's video, a fun one. I'm gonna put the link for the cooler from Anker SOLIX down in the description, so if you're interested in that, click that. I'm telling you, that's an absolute game changer when it comes to taking care of your food, especially through them summer months. You're absolutely gonna love it. And then Coalcracker Bushcraft.com for all our gear and all our equipment. We came out with some cooking stuff recently, from folding frying pans to kettles to 4-pack of bush pots of all different sizes. So good stuff. We'll do that over on our gear channel. I'm gonna get some videos up on that stuff very shortly. And then yeah, get lots of food, enjoy your camping season coming up, use the skills we're teaching you here, and until next next video. Stay in the woods.